Welcome again to the Keith Noble Show. Yes, it's still a windy day up here in the Rocky Mountains, but hang with me. We're going to talk today about rent-seeking and government. Rent-seeking is the idea of obtaining wealth without actually creating wealth. You're not doing anything productive. You are creating situations where you can lay claim to what other people do that is productive. Pretty much all of government is rent-seeking. Now, there are some legitimate parts of government, court system, defense, things like this, but even those get engaged to a large extent in rent-seeking. When you can pass laws and regulations and taxes, and you can decide who is exempt from those laws and regulations and taxes, you are in a very lucrative position. You will have people who will pay you a good amount of money to reward them and punish their business competitors. That's what it is. There's a lot of ways to work this. There's revolving doors between the bureaucracy, the regulators, and those they regulate, going back and forth, knowing that, hey, I can go do the amount of time required to obtain a government pension. I can do specific favors, things that are favorable for specific companies, and have a job at the end of that with that company. There is the belief that you can, as a politician, put in exemptions for people into legislation. Those exemptions aren't usually by name. Company X is exempted. They're more likely, hey, under these circumstances, this law doesn't apply, this regulation doesn't apply. In that manner, companies can be rewarded and they can punish their competitors. Now, there's a lot of ways to bribe these people. It doesn't have to be, a briefcase full of cash in a coffee shop. It could be lucrative gigs for your spouse. It could be a six-figure job for your ne'er-do-well nephew. It could be a lot of ways to do this. Most of all, it could be a job at the end of your federal service. The New York Federal Reserve, which is chartered with regulating the Wall Street banks, is famous as a revolving door between the Wall Street banks and the regulatory agency. People work for Wall Street Bank, they go work for the regulatory agency, they put in regulations favorable to those banks, and they leave and go back and work for a Wall Street bank. We have this situation all throughout government. The people chartered with regulating these companies then go work for these companies, or they come from the company and they do the regulations and they go back. It's unhealthy, it's wrong, it's rent-seeking. It's people taking the power invested in them by us, the people, as politicians and as bureaucrats, to use that for their own profit, to make it a lucrative field. Has nothing to do with what's best for us. Has nothing to do with being fair and impartial. Has nothing to do with any of that. Has to do with them making their own money. So, thank you for tuning in today. Go look up Auto Chicks and The Nobles Financial Network on Facebook. And we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe it won't be quite so windy.